My family were at home. They raided the houses, kicked the door down. They came in screaming and shouting, ripped up the floorboards, removed the light bulbs, removed the sockets in the wall. You know, there was nothing that was basically left unturned. Any money that was in the house they took. For my wife who was disabled, she couldn't go anywhere. The carers couldn't come in to help her because she needed the carers' help and she needed my help as well. So essentially, my wife was left on her own throughout the whole night and throughout the next day until towards the end of the day, I believe. She was hysterical. So they say, the woman was shouting and screaming and hysterical when we had to calm her down. And at the one moment we had to nearly call an ambulance because we felt she was having a heart attack. My wife suffers from fibromyalgia, which is an illness that affects the muscles. She has the severe spectrum of it. So when she's really ill, it's a case where she can't move. So even to maybe go to have a shower or something like that, she needs the help. The painkillers they give are so powerful that they make you drowsy. You're sleeping the whole day. As you can imagine now, illness, sadness and trauma of the children, the trauma of the actual event itself, all your wealth and your possessions being taken away on top of that, not knowing what the future holds in terms of, is he coming back, is he not coming back? You hear stories of what happens, to Muslims at points of arrest, when she's alone, when, nobody's there, or when sisters are there, it's crying every single day. You have the live experience of seeing the difficulties of your family when you're caring for them. There's some things as a carer, as a husband, as a carer, no one else can do. Being removed from your family is like somebody, putting a hole in your chest and taking your heart out and then stepping on it in front of you. It was deeply painful. It was deeply painful because you sit down and you think, who's going to look after my family? My families were very traumatized, and up to this moment, some of my family members can't sleep unless there's a noise in the background. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says that He created the night for rest. But these terror raids, they turn the night into a night of terror. So there is no rest in it. It turns into a constant torment for families who have been affected with these things. Broken spirits, broken families, broken people. Your kids can't stay in the house all day. This is a house of terror. This is where they've just been terrorized. This is where, like, my son was, at that time, was very close to me. At that time, he was attached to my leg. If it's food, he wouldn't eat unless I was the one who fed him. Like, literally, he won't accept anybody to do it. Suddenly, I'm out of the picture. It's devastating. My daughter and my son, they will go out. Mum will take them out, or neighbors or friends will take them out. They'll have a wonderful time at some park somewhere. And then as soon as they come back, they'll run to the house, open the letterbox and be like, Daddy, we come and find you. We know you're hiding. Where are you? I'm coming. And, Mum has to say, no, he's not there. He's not there. You have to keep their mind away from, the fact the father's not here, So it was very, very difficult. I called home one day, my daughter at that time, who was like, she was 7-8 years old. But she was having to do a lot of the running around for Mum. Basically, she was growing up, at a very, very early age, basically. And she's taking my son to school, who's her younger sibling, because my wife can't take her to school. So she says, there's these guys, they say to us that we owe them money. So I know these are the local drug dealers in the local area. That was the most painful thing for me. Because that's when I felt that I wasn't a father. Like, I couldn't be a father to my children. And I can't say anything on the phone other than tell your teachers. Because Mum, what can Mum do? I can't say, Mum, you need to go to school with them. There's no one to take them to school. I can't say don't go to school because the social service is saying, oh, if they don't go to school, then we have to take them away because that shows that you're incapable of looking after them. So that was very, very difficult. Teacher was saying to me that, yeah, your daughter comes to school every morning crying. She just not in the morning crying, but she'll be sitting in a class and she'll just burst out crying. And we ask her what's wrong, and she says she doesn't know. She doesn't know why she's crying. You know, and the same thing for my son. He doesn't know why he's crying. And in the nighttime, he's bedwetting. Every night, HHUGS was like that parent, was me not being there. When HHUGS came in, it relieved the burden from my family financially, in the sense that my family would receive vouchers for shopping. I didn't see my wife for a year, basically, because it was just too far. Every trip to come and see me in prison for my wife, minimum £100. When HHUGS started giving help, my visits, got longer. Got to spend lots of time with my kids. Some of the times in the visit, I would have mixed emotion, relief but sadness, because my youngest son would come and he'd say, "Oh, we're in Daddy's house, we're in Daddy's house," and I would think, this is not my house. But it's better you believe it's my house than for you to know, what this place is. But then the difficulty of it is that when they're leaving, they thought I was kicking them out. So they would say, "Oh no, I want to stay. I want to spend more time with you," and so forth. And say, "No, you have to go. You have to go." And the officer's like, "Time's up. Any person who doesn't get off their seat will be banned from visits again next time." So it's difficult when they're crying. They're thinking it's you because you don't like them. And stuff like that, subhanAllah. When Ramadan came, you have the deep sadness of missing Ramadan, of not being there with your family. That we were allowed to go to the mosque once, and I think we prayed Taraweeh together in the mosque, and I think it was the first time I cried for a long time, because it just really reminded me of home. Of being outside with the community, with your family, with, so it just brought it home. It just brought it home and just, made you realize everything that you're missing. This is why Ramadan is also difficult, because it's extra financial help, burden on your family, because they have to send you a bit more money because you're fasting all day, and no happiness for my families on Eid time. Eid is always emotional, so we usually either on the day of Eid, if we're able to book a visit, we'll book a visit on that day. We used to try to make it like the canteen that's there, get all their nice stuff, so the kids are not usually allowed fizzy, but let them drink fizzy, they just to feel special, but obviously then they want that again, another time, and they want to do that at home as well. Say, when are we gonna have a party at home? Or they'll tell you about a party they went to and how it was so fun and so amazing, and you just feel like I wish I was there. The children and the wife used to have they used to have the Eid gatherings sometimes. So she tells me that she's got really good friends there. People who she would speak to about her concerns and her difficulties and stuff like that. And they helped her a lot. HHUGS' help is immeasurable. They're part of the family now, basically. Also, they helped to pay for the carers for more hours. They're government carers who were doing their 2-3 hours, but the HHUGS carer was doing, I can't remember if it was 9 or 10 hours, basically. The government are saying to my wife, "We don't think you're capable of looking at children. We want to take the children away, but we can't provide you the money at the same time to provide, to provide carers to look after you and to help you so you can manage your children." So a charity had to come in to save my children and to save my family, basically, from breaking apart and my children going into care. So when I say it's a lifeline, meaning my kids will be in care right now, and Allah knows best, had HHUGS not stepped in. When I came out, I wasn't allowed to work. I wasn't allowed to any benefits or anything like that. And in the hostel I was staying in, I had to pay the rent. And if I didn't pay the rent, I'll get sent back to prison. HUGS were paying my rent for me when I was staying at the hostel. You know, I couldn't use my own phone, like my own contract phone I had from before. I wasn't allowed, so I had to use the phone that they gave me. But that phone that they gave me, you know, you had to top it up. You know, so HUGS were helping me, you know, topping it up, you know. And then traveling, because my hostel was the other side of London, you know, to where my family was. They helped me with that in terms of, you know, paying for my travel card, you know, to get from point A to B. HUGS basically saved me from going to prison. Let's put it that way. Forget the politics and let's talk about humanity. Whatever those who are in prison have done or have not done, the families are innocent. They're just as much victims as anybody else. But what people need to realize that families also have a prison sentence. I believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought HUGS into my life because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows if they're not there, I wouldn't be able to bear it. And my family wouldn't be able to bear it. I believe HUGS were the nasr, the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for me and for my family. So they were the du'as, they were the du'as of people for us, and they were our du'as for Allah, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us.